Good day, I'm Dr. T, and welcome to my desktop. This is a review of the game Airborne Kingdom, a fairly new game, and I kind of like it. So the TLDR, it's really cool. I like the concepts. It's definitely not going to be a particularly long game, so it's a little bit more of those kind of straightforward, nice narrative, nice idea, but not something you're going to be spending 50, 60 hours with. At least I don't expect to be. I've played it for about 6 hours. And I think I'm nearing the end of my first playthrough, and I may do a second. I don't know. That said, I would have said the same thing about Space Haven, and I put a ton of hours on that. Okay, so as the name suggests, you're building a kingdom. This is a base builder game, but your kingdom flies. So here is my city. I'm currently got it paused. So I've been playing for about 6 hours through one playthrough. You start out with this part, the town center, which gives you coal storage. Yes, this whole thing's powered by coal, which is just definitely like, yeah, this ain't going to happen. But, you know, it gives you coal storage, gives you a fair amount of lift, because, of course, your city is flying. So, you know, you have to have lift and propulsion, because your city is basically an aircraft. And a place to start building from. Everything you build has to be attached to it, or at least that appears to be the case. So, hey, that's your starting spot. You start with that, then you build paths. It doesn't appear to have a lot of pathfinding mechanisms, so your buildings need to be connected by path. I do not think that your citizens' efficiency changes depending on how well you've done the paths. So that would be something I kind of like to see. I don't think it's there. But then it could get a little bit overwhelming if it was. So yeah, you start building your buildings. Now you have to keep in mind a couple of things. This is a flying city, so you need enough lift. So your town center provides a certain amount of lift, and once your weight of your city has exceeded what it can provide, then you need to start adding other lift. You've got options. I'm using the fans. These burn coal. They don't take people as, you know, people don't have to run them, which is helpful for me because you'll find you're actually limited heavily by your population. But you've got other options for lift. Okay, I haven't actually researched them yet. But you've got other lift options, things like wings, balloons, etc. As you can tell from this, there is a tech tree. Interestingly enough, you do not start out with the ability to research them. So right off the bat, you start out with basically most of these guys being question marks. And then from kingdoms that you encounter, you can purchase blueprints, but then that doesn't give it to you. You then have to research it, which I like. It's a nice way of doing the tech tree. And then they can limit your tech options by which kingdoms sell which resources, which can be really helpful for you. So once again, overall, fairly standard approach, except for once again, you can move and you have to go to the kingdoms to buy stuff, etc. So it gives you this kind of open world feel, as well as being a base builder, which is kind of really cool. And their tech tree does a nice job of making it, you know, interesting, providing a growing complexity and growing difficulty without, you know, making it feel like a slog. So once again, I'm going to have lots of good things to say about this game. Now, your city starts out, you get people, they have wants, desires, etc. From what I can tell, upset and angry are basically you put housing too close to industry. That's what this one guy, apparently I put him too close to something. But they also have other needs, etc. And early on in the game, when you have very few people, they're very not picky. They'll take anything you want. But then they're like, no, I want street lighting. And so you have to put in street lights. They want religious activities, so you have to put in shrines or temples or minarets or whatnot, which of course you have to acquire the blueprints for and then go, you know, research it and build it with resources. So fairly straightforward. Once again, I love the difficulty curve. It's a very kind of linear difficulty curve, nothing spiking. Once again, really good. They really made a nice difficulty curve here. Now, you're a flying city. You can move, and let me figure out which way is front. Okay, so I'm facing front right now. The controls are a little bit awkward. Hold and right click Hold and right-click allows you to move the city around, move your camera. Right-clicking on a spot, which is kind of tricky. You see how create a balloon there. That's where my city's going to fly to. Once I kick this on, I'm going to travel there. Now, a couple features. One, you're building hangars to send out scouts. That's an early thing you have to build in order to gather resources. You are limited by the number of idle workers you have, as well as the number of aircraft you have. But not only do you have to worry about lift, you have to worry about tilt. So if I start building off in one direction, the place is going to start leaning that way. People are going to get unhappy. It's going to slow me down because, of course, I need to propel myself forward. And I'm assuming bad things happen if it gets way too much. So I'm not quite for sure how bad it gets. I assume if I run out of coal, the city crashes and it's game over. I don't know. I made a point not to do that. But you get this nice thing. You're thinking about tilt in left, right, front, back. So you got 2-axis tilt to worry about. Plus you've got your lift. While I'm passing it, when you're encountering cities, so that guy up ahead is a major kingdom. And so right now I'm completing a quest for them. But if I want to trade with them, I grab relics that come from these kind of ziggurat things that I send my scouts down to get. I can send them to go gather resources from nearby resource locations, like this particular forest over here. Once again, a nice exploration base game that you're traveling around. Now, let's talk about these major cities or these kingdoms. In these cases, what you're doing is completing quests for them. So I've just completed a quest for them. There's basically either fetch quest or build quest, and the goal of the game is to return alliances. This is post-apocalyptic. Back in the days, there was the Airborne Kingdom, and peace reigned through the land. Standard story, nothing too horribly complex, but the idea is the Airborne Kingdom was lost and you're trying to rebuild it, and part of rebuilding that's reconnecting with each of these major kingdoms, and as such you have to provide a few fetch quests for them. So nothing too horribly exciting. That said, it makes a nice progression though, and it makes some nice goals, so it's something to do. So this is more than your normal base building where it's just like go build a base. Try and make it sustainable, which that is there. You do need to build your base. You need to make it sustainable. You need to worry about resources, but you also you have an end goal that you're trying to go for. You're trying to connect with the communities. You're trying to build up your airborne city. You've got to collect some wonders. At least that's as far as I've gotten so far. I wish the camera would stay centered on the city. This is annoying. And, like any other one, you're making your citizens happy, etc. So it's, once again, really nice. There's a lot to this I like. Okay, and of course your gliders can only go so far. Let's see, am I still close enough to the city to interact with them? Not yet. So basically I need to interact with them, complete the quest, probably build something for them and call it good. So while we're getting there, let's look at a couple of the resources. So obviously you've got your population. This is not a worker placement per se. You cannot take workers out of a building. So when you build a building, it has so many employees and they work there until you demolish that building. So you have to be careful what you're building. So people are very much kind of a construction resource. Not to mention they're the ones that fly your planes. So if you don't have people to fly the planes, they're all working in buildings, or to build other buildings, you can be kind of a problem. You need to make sure you control your growth that way. You're building housing for them, which can stack with some tech. You need to provide them, let's see, what's it saying? Comfort, which is kind of one of the higher tiers. So either some greenery with some fake trees that I've got over here. Those are farms, by the way. Or a tea house, or a couple other areas to provide comforts of home. And then you need to provide them with lighting, as I mentioned earlier, faith, and then health is kind of the top tier one, which you can't provide them until you unlock it, which is at one of the higher level cities. Speaking of which, I've got to be closest. Now then, we're finally at one of these kingdoms. They go for some narratives, and I'll be completing this quest here shortly, I think. Some voice acting on this would be nice, but I understand that could be kind of costly. So I've completed the fetch quest. Now I'm going to build a skyport, which is going to send some of my workers down, and this means that I'll have a friendship with them. So once that's done in 2 hours, which is kind of the in-unit game time, which I can speed things up, etc. So yeah, let's look at the resources. You need to get food. Right now I'm in an area that has low food, so I've got farms farming it. But you send your scouts down to go mine that from thickets. You got water, which are oases. You start out in a desert area, then you move to like a salt sea where you've got freshwater oases. I'm totally mispronouncing that, like this over there. I'm too far away to send guys out, but you get the idea. Or you build water collectors. Once again, like all of these, you build resources to gather. I already talked about lift. You got coal, which is your fuel. You run out of coal, I assume it's game over. Once again, I don't know. Then you got building materials. Wood, which you saw the forest I went and fetched. Now, you can convert wood into coal, doing charcoal. So thankfully they know what charcoal is, which is nice. You've got adobe, aka bricks, which you use to get some clay from it. So you mine clay, you get a brick, yay. Iron, which is made from iron ore, which you smelt it. So all of these guys, the wood, you just dig it up, you harvest it with your scouts, it's good to go. Most of your buildings will require wood. The other ones you require a production building, so bricks, metal or iron, and glass. Which, by the way, you're in a flying sea. Why are you building with brick? just saying. Glass, you need to start out with quartz. I mean, I would have done sand, but okay. You've got quartz. Okay, that makes sense. Canvas, you start out with some cotton, which is over in the wetter areas. And so you then make that into canvas. All makes sense. Now, as you'll notice, on the wood and the canvas and probably the iron, yeah, I'm getting some of that from my allies. So as you ally yourself with other cities, as you progress through, they start sending resources to you. Hey, and we've now completed the skyport, and so I've friends with another city, got an achievement. Looks like I've got one more city, and I haven't found them yet. So I need to ally myself with one more city, probably in the mountains, in order to do that. And they're going to send me probably some iron. And then, of course, you can buy and sell in the cities. If you've got too much of one resource, you need more of the other. Also, some people moved in, and it looks like I need to build some houses for them. So I'm going to go ahead and pause, just so I don't make them too mad while they wait. And I'm going to try and build some houses. Let's see. What kind of influence? So this guy is a temple. Anything in that area is going to get comfort and faith. This guy is going to give me comfort and health. The health is kind of a global area. So I want to be within that temple, or I could build a shrine, which gives me light and faith. Kind of depends on how I want to do this. Okay, so what is around there? So I've got my hemp weaver, which, by the way, they've got cotton that... Yeah, enough said. They just call this weaver. So I don't want to build any houses too close to this guy, otherwise they'll be crabby, which, I mean, I get. Let's see, over here, could I build some houses? Oh, this looks pretty good. What's my tilt look like? Okay, I've got a little bit of tilt to the left. So that says I kind of want to build on the right-hand side towards the middle. I don't know how close the physics are. I don't know if they're taking torque into consideration or something further away from the center is going to tilt you more. Your fans, by the way, have like a negative tilt. They push up. So you have to be careful where you put them as well. I don't want to build on the right, but I don't want my tilt... I mean, you get like 3% tilt before they start complaining. Oh, but that is kind of build. I'm going to build up on the left. I may regret this, but I'm going to build on the left. Okay, so I've got my pathway there, so I'm going to extend my pathway just a little bit. And houses can be put in 4x4 grids. Oh, well, that's inconvenient. Oh, wait, no, I do need that there. Okay, there is one there. Okay, good. Okay, so let's put my house in there. No, I don't want the house there. This is a little bit annoying. You don't have a good, like, grid view that overlays. So it's a little hard to see at times. I'll get back to the map. Okay, so I'm going to put my house in there. That allows me to do... And then with technology, you can stack your houses 3 high. How's my tilt doing? Okay, not bad. Okay, I've got a little bit more tilt there than I'd like, but that's what I get. And I probably want to put a lighthouse there, or a street light there, just to get some better lighting, because the temple doesn't give light. Okay, I'll go ahead and warm this back up. So obviously, the people without a house are currently a little crabby. I don't blame them one bit. And so now, hopefully my workers are going to go build the house. Gives me a little bit of lift. The more buildings you have, the more drag, the more speed you need. So the more propellers you get to install, the propellers have to go in the front. Or you can do things like oars on the side, or like fins on the back. So you've got options. You just need to upgrade kind of things. Okay, so they're good with that. I need to go find some water, apparently. Wow. I will say, so I'm clicking a few times. It is surprisingly non-responsive when you click, which is kind of annoying. So I'm going to send out a squadron to get some water. Oh, and there's a settlement. So let's go over to the settlement too. So these small settlements you can recruit people from. There we go. Okay. Yeah, when you're clicking on things, it is not quite as responsive as I'd like. And I think that's because of the whole right-click doing multiple things, left-click doing multiple things. So that's one of my major complaints, is just it's kind of unresponsive. Hey, I'm close enough. I can recruit people. And I can say, okay, they'll give me 3 people. The first person needs at least mediocre, which I've got. The second person needs at least satisfied, and the third person is going to need at least joyous, which not all my people are joyous, so I'm not going to want to recruit them. And I'm just hitting escape to get out. And if they don't meet their desired level of satisfaction, they will leave. You know, next time you get close to a place, you know, they will decide to disembark. Okay, so I upgraded my temple. You can switch upgrades mid-process, but if you do, you lose all progress towards the previous one, which is okay. It's interesting. And so I can, you know, upgrade various things, trying to decide really kind of what I want to do. All these are pretty good. I can stack my storage if I want. That seems decent. Honestly, keeping my people happy is one of the biggest challenges. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and research the upgrade tea garden. So it's going to keep my people a little bit happier. So at this point in the game, I still need to find, let's go to that map. So here's the current map. It doesn't let me zoom out too awful much. Each kind of general zone has 4 major kingdoms, as you could kind of guess. So I found 4 in the desert, 4 in the water. And so I need to find the 4th one in the mountains, which I'm guessing is either there or there. Also, I need to be on the lookout for a couple of quest items. So we've got basically the legendary I want to call it Air Temple, like it's Avatar: The Last Airbender. The Air City, or Air Kingdom. The legendary one had 3 wonders of the world. So in order to rebuild them and to presumably win the game, I need to find the 3 parts of the 3 wonders. Presumably 1 part scattered in each area. So I found 1 part of each. But I'm still looking for the other ones. So presumably I completely missed them in the desert and the ocean. So I probably get to figure that out and then try and navigate. What I would like to see right now is I would like to be able to right-click on the map and tell my city to move towards that spot. It will not do that. So instead I have to like, okay, I need to go this way, don't I? Click. There we go. Oh wait, I'm paused. That's why it's not moving. Okay, then I am turning in the correct direction, so okay, that's good. As I'm flying over this coal deposit, I'll go ahead and grab some coal. Looks like I'm good on water. Obviously, I'm filling up on water, so I should be good. So I'll take some of my squadron off of there. Rotate controls are Q and E, then AWS, kind of like standard. See, once again, I'm clicking here several times. There we go. It is really finicky on the clicking, which is something that is kind of really annoying. So I don't quite understand why it's so finicky. I mean, I literally clicked that 4 or 5 times before I grabbed that coal deposit. So it's kind of annoying. But yeah, overall, I like the game. There's a couple of bugs just kind of with user interface stuff, which is kind of weird to say. I like the feel of it. I like kind of the building the city. So you got city building and open world exploration. I like that. I like the aesthetics. You know, it's not grim dark. You know, it's pretty. I mean, this is kind of a misty area, so it's not, you know, bright and shiny. The desert actually pretty is. You'll notice the artwork on the ground. You know, you've kind of got this kind of map look. It's very stylized. Obviously, this is not photorealistic. You can see the polygons, but, you know, it still looks good. The art direction was nice. You can change up your color scheme. That is doable. I've not poked around on that. That's just, yeah, I don't care. A lot of innovative designs. I love these hangars. And the planes actually shoot out from the bottom when they launch, and then they do that kind of, that'd be a roll of some sort. It's not a barrel roll. I say, do a barrel roll. No, it's not. That's not a barrel roll. And then when they launch, they shoot out the bottom, which is just, I like that. Okay, would y'all launch? I say this, I talk about that, and they're not launching. I want them to launch. Okay, you get the idea, though. So, nice art design. Really like the art design. I like that there is a story to it. I'm afraid I'm going to be stuck doing this really obnoxious going back and forth trying to find those wonders, which, that's just going to get annoying. So overall review of the game. I like it. I think it's worth getting. That's it. Once again, I put in maybe 6-7 hours on this game. I feel like I've done most of it. I may play it again on a harder difficulty level. I've got the normal. That's usually what I play at. Either normal or slightly easy for the first time. Unless I reload this and discover it's a procedurally generated map, I don't think there'll be a lot of replay value to this. There'll be some. Once again, Space Haven, you know, there is some procedure generation, but let's just be honest, the map you don't care about in Space Haven. Whereas this one, okay, so you can see kind of the pretty designs here. Very Middle Eastern influence for the art style. Once again, I love it. So, with all that said, should you get the game? Yeah, probably. I think I paid like 20 bucks for it, so you're definitely not getting that whole 50 cents an hour thing. It's more like $3 an hour, probably down to $1 if you play it a fair amount. Well, no, I'm still clicked on that coal deposit. Yeah, I like it. I'm not regretting getting it at all. You know, I burned 5-6 hours yesterday just on it when I should have been cooking. So yeah, so this is Dr. T. I hope you have enjoyed the video so far, and if you're interested, definitely worth checking this out. And boy, I wish they would lock the camera on the city. Oh, I guess if you press C, it does help. Okay, so with that said, have a wonderful day.